Some in the business of technology have built their brands on scarcity. We believe scarcity, we miss the opportunity because our real challenge is to manage abundance. Much of our media is still a one-way push like conventional television, but people are talking locally on community media and other independent media, fostering civic engagement, meaningful public discourse, and beyond a narrow circle of affinity and selective news. Submitted for your approval, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and the Grand Rapids Community Media Center, which includes community radio, the Wealthy Theater, nonprofit services, partnership with the Rapidian, which is a hyperlocal citizen journalism platform supported by professional journalists, and of course 2 channels of GRTV. Grand Rapids, population 192,000 people, Greater Grand Rapids 1 million. Characteristics of 21st century community media include active dynamic collaboration, local archives of content accessible to all in an on-demand environment that is searchable and also globally connected. Does this remind you of anything? Sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking we invented everything just recently. With all due respect to our true innovation, the current fashion of makers has a sort of nostalgic view of the Industrial Revolution, the revolution that brought us sweatshops, child labor, and an enormous amount of wasted plastic products. The ultimate makerspace in this century will involve people creating their own messages, debating issues, making decisions together, addressing nagging social issues. But to do this, we must have a common, a public right-of-way, not just a space, but of ideas and information shared by all, open to the contribution of all. Consider Portland, Oregon, and the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. They provide communications network assets and infrastructure that are part of a common, and that common has been implemented as part of a public benefits obligation of telecom providers. Coming up here is a chart of just the local community TV channels in Portland, Oregon today. They have collaboratively built in Portland an advanced fiber-based network carrying video, data, and voice, connecting more than 270 public facilities, 20 public agencies, all throughout Multnomah County. Does this sound familiar? Portland, Oregon, population 615,000 people, Greater Portland 2.4 million. We have enormous opportunities just ahead. Unlike any we've had before, people of all ages, and we hope across all economic classes, can access their information on all manner of devices from all different places, not the 20th century push of one-way media. Telecommunications networks have already revolutionized how we communicate, like the fiber to the home and cable networks identified here. These dispel the concept of scarcity. They are models of abundance. Today, as a community, we can design our own media ecosystem, but we must envision the new model. Is the point of all our technology and media really consumerism, sports, pornography, which are actually some of the most popular content to this day? Or is it to share authentic stories with each other, to listen, to learn? Everyone has a story. Telecom networks are like the electrical grid. The public purpose of these utilities is the real challenge that we face. Local community media is the antidote to saturation media, and it offers local independent perspective, local stories that can move us forward. Slow media is better than wide media. Consider Brattleboro, Vermont's local media. Brattleboro Community Television went on the air in 1975. iBrattleboro is a hyperlocal citizen journalism platform. Community radio, The Commons covering news in Windham County, along with other independent media. Brattleboro population 12,000, Windham County population 44,000. 40 years ago, we began to develop local networks right here in Vermont. This became the Vermont Access Network, 25 organizations providing community media with the idea that the telecom infrastructure should actually serve the public good, at least a little bit. So now we have an opportunity, which is to join community media and independent media together to chart a course for public conversation. First, we need to keep building networks that are already in place. Silvernet, Comcast, Burlington Telecom, Fairpoint, EC Fiber, Waitsfield Telecom, Charter, Velco. There are a lot of networks. They're all around us. And whatever other networks we might have should work in the interest of serving people. What if you had a media ecosystem, imagine for a moment, where your whole community is connected, where students and schools can meet with each other, no matter what school, work with teachers anywhere, where cultural events are shared readily, promptly, live, where developers can build applications in the cloud, locally, in a locally shared environment. And we shouldn't leave broadcasting out. Norway Public Broadcasting has established slow media. They have a program, they have a number of programs. This one is a shot from a 4-hour discussion about sheep, followed by an 8.5-hour program of sheep shearing, spinning, needlework. It may sound ridiculous, but in fact, 2/3 of the population of Norway watches these shows. It's a long, dark winter in Norway. Does that sound familiar? Norway population 5 million. The real point is that telecom providers, just because they're good plumbers, doesn't mean they should own the water. That is not the way it should work. There is a public good that we should consider. What should technology do? Why? And to what end? We talk about the information age. We're impressed by the power of technology, infrastructure, and data. But what are we telling each other? I think that the only way that we will escape the information age is through local communication, local conversations, to transform from the age of information to the age of stories. Wouldn't that be a good way to go back? People telling stories, asking questions, working together.